You're listening to the Mobcast Network.
Mando Monday!
Mando
Monday! Look at
Oh.
see how you like it feel now.
So I thought about this after the end of the last episode. Why are we doing? It's just another Mando Monday.
Next week.
Whoa.
Next week.
Yeah, wish it were.
You know, you're really good at writing those kind of songs. You should write that up for us. We'll sing it. You can write it.
Done.
I need lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can find a karaoke track. We could record it.
Then
we can make that happen.
Then we have Lucasfilm, Disney, and the Go-Go's after us. Or no, Bengals. Sorry.
So far, this will be the third episode of Mando Mondays, and I have yet to be sued by Disney.
That's it.
So
New records.
By the way, I have a piece of music at some point to play for you where some guy took the Rocky theme song and the Mandalorian title sequence and mashed them. And
Oh, that's
it
cool.
Is that-
ridiculous?
Was it better than the Cowboy Bebop one we saw the other day?
Nothing's better than the Cowboy Bebop one.
Okay.
we'll talk about those because I've actually got them in the show notes to mention them.
Oh!
Look at me doing show notes.
Look at us being on the same page.
Right.
We were in sync a second ago with our
Wait.
I'm really happy with it. I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by, as always, our Jedi Master.
Hey, JD.
I hate JD.
JD giggles.
Dr. JD Giggles. Remember Dr. Giggles?
Remember Dr. Teeth?
Yeah, he's from the Muppets.
Dr. Mandibles from last week.
Last week.
Dr. Amazon.
There's a lot of doctors in Star Wars.
None of them help people.
If you see a doctor in Star Wars,
Run! Run, Luke, run!
you need the run.
No. Well, okay, so the only doctors I know that help anybody in Star Wars are 2-1B and FX7.
Yeah, effing robots.
Right, because they helped Luke in his diaper bath and Hoth.
But they're not called doctor. They didn't go through 4 years of medical training.
Yes, they did.
No, they went programmed.
You don't know their life.
I do. They went, beep boop, here's a disc.
Clippy's like,
He's
would
like-
you like to learn surgery?
Dude, it's like the Matrix. I know Kung Fu. He's like, I know heart surgery.
And then 2-1B at the end of Empire Strikes Back gives Luke a new hand.
That's true.
And
Not a doctor.
and then the
Not
doctor
getting sued by what's his
You're saying
name.
orthopedists aren't doctors?
and the
No,
same
the
droid.
robot is not a doctor.
And then at the end of episode 3, the medical droids let Padme die of sadness. So,
Oh, fair enough.
not a
So
doctor.
but two out of 3 droid doctors are successful.
Well, that could be great on the end of a Colgate commercial. All we know are Amazon, Mandible, and Afra. Have any of them saved lives?
No.
Okay. How many have taken lives?
All of them, maybe. I don't know about Mandible. I hope that Mandibles is a dentist. If he's not, it is just a ruined opportunity.
Dr. Mandible, he's the kind of dentist that would take a smoke break.
Right.
He's
Like,
the easiest dude.
hold on one second. Or whatever he talks to. We also have the man who puts men into Mendos.
Wait, I want to be the man who puts man in the mandibles.
The man who puts men into mandibles.
No, all I want to do is call him the fresh maker.
I've done that for weeks. Koss himself. Drew, what's up, Koss?
Hello. I love our introductions are like 30 minutes.
Right. All right, we got 10 minutes to talk about Mando. I don't know what I just said, but we only have 10 minutes. Mando. Man, I'd have been a hoe. Never mind. We'll get there in a minute. Not
All I'm
Bo-Katan,
saying
but
is-
Bo-Katan's friend. She was cute.
You know who that is? You don't know who that is, do you?
No. Like,
Scotty, cue up the music. It's boss time!
It's boss. Don't we have music for that?
Sasha Banks, professional wrestler, WWE
was it?
Women's Champion. The boss.
So I was confused.
So
I didn't know
excited
if
when
you
that happened to me.
I didn't know if you meant like the
Or maybe
bounty
the dude,
hunter
I'm sorry,
boss.
the dude.
What?
No, the girl?
Yeah, the girl.
I heard Bosk as well.
It's boss. Her name, it's Sasha. That's what makes it so awesome. Sasha Banks, her song is "It's Boss Time," and then she comes out. But what makes it great, Star Wars, is that it could be "It's Boss Time"
or Boosh or Bosch from the guy on the flight deck.
Yeah, Bosch. I love that shit. I don't really love it.
I've never seen it.
It's good for like 5 minutes, and then you get the point.
Oh, well, okay.
I have some announcements before we go further.
It's like my wedding night.
Oh my god!
I'm just trying to work here. Did he just lay down and let me do my job?
Also, like my never mind.
Wow, that was
Like my wedding night.
So, if you're free, Friday, November 20th, we're doing a live Cult Movie Cantina at Poindexter's for Movember. We're for the Men's Health charity. We're all three of us here are dudes. We talked about a little bit last week of how we're dudes, and so we got a big show coming up. We're going to do Roadhouse. We got door prizes, and we're building together a nice raffle box.
That's cool.
So it's going to be pretty awesome. We're trying to raise some money. So come out. That's this Friday, December 20th. At 6:30, November 20th at 6:30. I'm looking at December because I have a thing for December.
No, you reminded me of something my daughter did the other day. Sorry.
All right. So we are teaming up with, not we, but and you guys are more than welcome if you want to come to this too. But Cult Movies teaming up with the Rocky Horror Society to show The Room.
oh boy.
At the Crescent. They're doing it December 4th and 5th at 9 p.m. We're going to be involved somehow. They contacted me today. So I know we're going to be there at least one of those days, Steph and Justina and I.
Is The Room the one with Brie Larson?
He's not wrong. She did win an Oscar for going, "Oh, hey, Mark." First of all,
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
so it would be great. I'm hoping beyond hope that he has no idea what we're talking about, and that was an honest question.
Oh God, was that an honest question?
What was the name what was the name of the movie she won her Oscar for?
Room.
That's it.
Okay.
So is this an honest question?
Yeah, I mean, because the Hey Mark, that wasn't The Room. That was the
Hey, Mark.
that was the Disaster Artist or whatever.
No.
Which is based on a movie.
Called The Room.
It's called The Room. I thought I didn't know it was
No,
called The
that's why it
Room.
was so funny.
That's
No,
right.
that's great. I don't care.
Beautiful moment.
Hey,
Look
Mark.
at me not being flustered. I have no
I
idea.
know, we it just made me laugh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
that's-
just saying, she was in a movie called The Room.
No, it's absolutely accurate.
She was in a movie called Room.
Oh, okay.
There's a movie called The Room
With what's his name?
Tommy Wiseau.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Wouldn't it have been great though if she said that after she blew through Thanos' ship?
Right.
She's like, oh hi Thanos.
I would take it.
Well, every time we pick up the DSLRs or because they're all Mark whatevers, I'm always like, oh, hi, Mark at work. and the guys, we're all into it. So it's our giggle thing. It's so fun.
I mean, I get that part.
Right.
My kids do it all the time.
So December 4th and 5th at 9 p.m. at the Crescent. We'll have its info in our show notes as soon as I get it.
It just made my day.
You're welcome.
So I did a thing. Hasbro has this thing called Haslabs, and Hasbro, the toy company, and this. It's kind of like their Kickstarter. They'll come up with a toy design and say, "Hey, do you want to buy this? It costs X. If we get 6,000 people, we'll make it." And so they started this off like 2 years ago with like making a sail barge, a Jabba sail barge at the scale for like the action figures we grew up with, the little 3 3/4 inch.
Oh, yeah, right.
So it's huge. It's huge. It's like 5 feet long. It's like the USS flag.
Nice.
And it was $500, and I was like, "No, that's okay. I don't like Jabba that much."
Right.
So I passed on it. And so, however, they've made a Razor's Crest,
Oh, snap.
and so I wasn't going to do it because I was like,
How much is it?
I liked Mandalorian. Mandalorian was cool. I mean, the office has some toys for decoration, but I don't collect a lot of toys anymore. I collect autographs. What my main autograph is. I said for decoration.
I was looking. I was emphasizing the decoration by looking at it for
I
you.
got you. I thought you were like, you loser. Anyway,
I wouldn't say that discreetly.
that's true. He would not. So it was after tax and all said and done, it was $384. But let me tell you what it is. So it's 30 inches long. It's to scale. It came with. It only was going to come with a Mandalorian with like a cloth cape figure, and so to fly it, right? You can take it apart like the Jawas took it apart. It's got a carbon freezing chamber. It's got a toilet. It's got
holy vacuum.
I mean, it's a vacuum. It's like super detailed, right? And so, and much like a Kickstarter, they had stretch goals, kind of like, well, if we get this many, this is the things we unlock. And the first thing they unlocked was like a skate pod, which I didn't know the Razor Crest has, but so we may see her escape pod in a future episode. And so I was like, well, that's whatever. I'm not that interested. Then they were like, all right, so the next one is here's Baby Yoda and that pram he had at the end of the first season, the one that Quill built for him. Okay, that's cool. And then they're like, all right, we're going to put 4 carbonite blocks. So all the 4 guys.
Oh, wow.
No way.
So you can, if we get this level, you get Horatio Sands and the lady, and then there's a Rodian, and then there's a guy that's modeled after George Lucas. And so you get those.
Jorge Sakul?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice pullback. And so I was like, okay, me, carbonite's my thing. I love it. And I was like, okay, they almost got me there. And then they were like, all right, next is a stand, so you can stand it up, and so it looks like it's launching off, and it's going to be cool. What? And then the final thing was, and now here's a Jawa with an egg. And I was like, sold American. If I get, so I get a Jawa with an egg, the 4 carbonite pieces of the stand, Yoda, Kevin. Kevin, and then Din Djarin, and the Razor Crest, which is gorgeous. So I bought it. So we're going to have it when it gets here. It should be here spring next year, summer or early summer. I would love to use your macro camera on that. We're going to do an unboxing, and it's going to make it awesome. They sold 28,000 of these things.
Holy moly.
They made about $12 million on just this campaign.
It's genius.
And it's
scarcity.
It's scarcity. So trust me, if I had the money, I'd have bought 2 and held one for a year or 2 and sold it later. Yeah. It's going to,
then retired.
Right. Well, I don't think retired, but like the Jabba's Palace, the sail barge came with like a yak face. The yak face on eBay just by himself is half what you would have paid for the sail barge.
Wow.
So I'm like,
crazy.
It's right. It's crazy. We're going to open our stuff, so I'm not worried about it, but. So 28,800 people got the Razor Crest, they sold. I had to get it clarified. They sold 28,800 Razor Crests. So
that's incredible.
So because you could buy multiples. Yeah. So I had to clarify if it was people or how many they're making. So which is cool for like collectors. You now know there's a finite number. So how many are there? Well, there's 28,800 of those. Yep. So it's kind of cool. Cool. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. You've which one of you found it? The Cowboy Bebop.
I don't know. Was it me?
Yeah, I think it was you.
No. It was you.
Yeah. I'm surprised there.
There's a really cool Cowboy Bebop Mandalorian intro. Someone made that's just perfect, almost nearby.
No, I'm so obsessed with it because I'm a huge Cowboy Bebop fan. Like, it's my favorite. I'm not a big anime guy, but that one works for me. Let's go. Yeah, it's just so good. But it's the Mandalorian theme song.
Yeah.
Reworked into that jazz format. That's just like so. I follow that guy now on Instagram, and he's done that a few times in other shows. He's extremely talented.
Cool. Well, we're gonna play a sample. We're gonna play a sample of it now because we can't play a lot of it. We'll play a sample now.
Oh, is that my cue? Da 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 da.
I guess we're keeping that one in.
I was going to say, don't tell me I messed up our cut time.
And so I'll put the whole thing in our show notes so you can watch it. It's very much worth to watch. All right. Lastly, before we start the episode, I want to talk about last week's episode a little bit. there has been some controversy.
Oh my God, this is
saw that.
ridiculous.
And I wanted to get our feelings out about it because I think we're on the same page, maybe.
Well, we almost got into it in the first 10 minutes of last year. So Jeebus. Feels like it, 2020. But last week's.
So people are upset that Kevin was eating frog eggs, and I was like, why are you upset? And then there's this whole thing about, well, in vitro fertilization and mothers who can't have children, that's just devastating for them to have their eggs eaten. And I'm like, where in a world would that happen?
I hope all those people are vegans and have never eaten an egg.
Right. I mean,
that's what we're
it's
talking about.
Right. So it got so bad that Lucasfilm had to get it. So one of the guys who just
the guy issued a freaking
statement saying, hey, it's like chicken eggs. It's not really. And then I got thinking about it, and actually kind of I was doing some research on the Moncows for this episode that I didn't put in, but I was doing some research, and there's a thing about the Mon calamari are the same way. They mate the same way, where they have eggs and a bunch of eggs. They don't expect a lot of them to survive, so they don't have this attachment like we do to babies. Because human beings have babies. We don't have a lot of them. We don't have like a litter of babies.
Speak for yourself.
You have 3,
but 2 at once is a litter.
Kinda. Fair.
Touché, circle to the square.
She was super mad when she got home from the hospital, and I had a box under the stairs for her instead of putting her in the bed. That's all I'm saying.
So
I love you.
So I forgot where I was going.
Sorry.
With this. Yeah, you derailed my train of thought.
Litters.
There. So the Moncows, they don't get attached, and so clearly the frog people don't either.
Right.
And so it's a thing. So there's like, I know she was saying that, hey, it's our whole species, but there was enough to make.
But it wasn't even the whole species. It was just her line.
Right. It's her line.
It was like Denethor. Oh, my line has ended. Nobody cares.
No, but my line is ended.
Right.
I have daughters.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go down that route, how depressing is that for someone who
you need
gives
to
a
work
fuck?
on that, sir, and have a son.
Nope. We just had another scare. Nope.
I don't want to laugh at your scare. Why are we laughing at your scare?
Because it's hilarious. And I saw the look on his face.
Terrific.
Terrific? What'd you say?
I just basically I took the bait. That's terrible.
Nope. What? No.
Nope.
So the part I think that makes it less. Well, first of all, it's not just fantasy and make believe. It's space fantasy and make believe in a species that doesn't truly exist.
Right.
But the fact that she never noticed she was missing eggs.
She can't count.
But I mean, obviously, like you're
I
saying.
don't think it's that though. I think it's the fact that it's the same thing. If we're making a talking dog show, right? We have like a hero dog that talks, and that dog gets shot. You're gonna be like, oh my god, the dog, because there's just something magical about it.
Right.
I think what people are doing is because you had a sentience to
Right.
the character. I think that's where me personally, I was like, that's a little dark.
It is.
It's dark.
However, not to jump too far into this week's episode, but, and by that I mean the very end of it, we see Kevin playing with one of the babies that is hatched.
Is he playing with
He's
it?
playing. If the
He's
parents
playing with
weren't
it.
there, he may have gotten hungry.
No, I
but
think
we
he's
don't
playing
know.
with
But it very looks, because he's like, no, bye, when he leaves.
Because he wants to eat it.
Well, you know what?
don't
I
think so.
kind of want to eat a baby chicken, but I'm going to wait till it grows up and has more meat on it, is all I'm saying. And I also want to eat the egg of a chicken.
Yeah, I understand the egg.
And I'll wait for the baby to grow up and have chicken legs.
I guess the thing, it just goes back to the sentience. That's the only issue that I could ever have.
So you're saying if I shot Foghorn Leghorn, you wouldn't eat him?
Oh, I'd fry that shit up and.
All right then, because I say that'd be good.
I say that KFC.
Especially if you killed Porky the Pig and wrap some bacon around it and smoke that son of a gun.
Absolutely.
I'm so hungry.
I know too.
The other side of this was like people are upset that they were making Kevin evil,
It's not evil.
and I'm like, no. First of all, I understand you think he's 50. He's a toddler. They have no like impulse control, or they want
He's younger than a toddler.
Right. And so he wants something. He gets it, and he also has magical powers to help him.
Right. And it's like, put that thing back where you found it, or so help me. I mean, it's like the whole Mike Wazowski thing. Like, that's kids.
I do like this episode. It's like, we mind our manners. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's very parental in this episode.
I would, because he's becoming dad over the last couple episodes. Really, honestly, dad. He's a terrible father, but he's still dad.
Yeah,
because
he cares about it.
Yeah, he does, but he just still travels a child into this way dangerous situations. All right, I just wanted to touch on the controversy. I just thought it was.
Sorry, I had a question, but we'll get to it in the middle of the actual episode talk because that's where it comes up.
All right, so this week's episode is Chapter 11, The Heiress. Surprisingly, but to everybody, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. By everybody, like, no one saw that coming, and everyone cheered. She got so much like fan like tweets and stuff.
I'm sure.
She woke up and was like, "Oh, the world is wonderful to me."
She did a fantastic job.
She did a great job. She did it. It's written, of course, by Jon Favreau.
It was going to be Deborah Chow, by the way. I swore in my mind, I was like, "This is some Deborah Chow shit."
Maybe she watched the Deborah Chow episode and went, "Okay, this is what you do."
She probably called Deborah Chow and be like, "Hey, Deborah Chow, will you come direct for me? And then I'll just slap my daddy's name on it."
Ooh.
That could be taken wrong. Don't take it wrong.
Like, don't take this wrong.
It was a very insane statement.
Stars Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian. Misty Rosas is back as our frog lady. Mercedes Kessner Vanardo.
Also known as
Sasha Banks.
Also known as Snoop Dogg's cousin.
Is she?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
She's a Brodus?
Yep.
As she's Costco Reeves. Katie Sackhoff.
I'm sorry, her name is Costco.
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 Costco Reeves. She's like
her
a
partner Sam's.
she's like part big box store, part Superman. You want to go there? I know you want.
So I'm biting my tongue.
Something about horses. I know it.
No, it's just going to be like, don't land that pack wrong. Because then you're going to need a bigger pram than Kevin.
Right. Katie Sackhoff is as Bo-Katan. This is her third series as Bo-Katan.
Amazing.
By the way. And I think if you might correct me, but I think this is the first animated character played by the same person.
I have not ever seen it before.
In a live action show.
I have not seen. I've never seen the transition.
So there we go. Bunch of firsts. Simon Castanades as
Chewie.
Out. Get off this podcast. Get off my podcast.
I'll turn this around.
Simon Castanades as Axe Wolf.
Who's Axe Wolf?
He's the other Mandalorian.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, that's a good name.
That's like, why isn't he the gunslinger?
He's a Dave Filoni.
Well, because it's Wolf.
Two things I love: axes and wolves.
Is he related to the New Republic pilot?
Timberwolf? Who knows? Maybe. Ooh. This is the way. We're assholes.
This is the way. Bwop, 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 bwop.
Bwop, bwop.
Yeah, but I think this is the way. Is like cultist.
Is it spelled the same?
Yeah, W-O-L-F. They're both spelled like the animal.
Huh. No German Wolf.
No
Wolves. No Wolves. Nein, das ist nicht so gut.
Our third Deadwood player, Titus Welliver, as the Imperial Captain.
Which is awesome.
Which was awesome. I like him because he's the man in black on Lost, so he got turned into the smoke monster. Giancarlo Esposito as Moff Gideon, sort of.
That's Moff Gideon's head hollow.
Kevin Dorff as the deck officer. Kevin Dorff is an Emmy winner. He wrote for a lot of comedy. So it's again comedy writers.
Is he related to Steven?
No.
Okay. Is he related to Dorff, the golfer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Their first, yeah, right.
His little brother.
So our bounty puck is on Katie Sackhoff because I thought after being in 3 shows, she deserved to talk about her.
And she's freaking the hottest woman ever.
Right?
Until next week or the week after.
Well, facts, but my nerd boner temporarily leans in her direction.
It moves on its own?
To Katie Sackhoff, yes.
Okay.
So
She beckons it.
So Katie Sackhoff, best known as Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica's reboot. She's also been in. Did you remember the Bionic Woman reboot?
Of course.
I liked it.
I'm a big Katie Sackhoff. I pitched her several times to be in a movie. All the times I get a big no, but I try.
It'll work.
I love her in Longmire.
It's on my list. Robot Chicken, The Flash, 24, Longmire. She was in Halloween Resurrection, which I did not know. I got to go back and rewatch that. among others. So again, she's played Bo-Katan in Star Wars Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and now live action in The Mandalorian. She was born on April 8th, 1980 in Portland, Oregon, grew up in St. Helens, Oregon. Her mother, Mary, worked as an English as a second language program coordinator. Her dad, Dennis, is a land developer. She has a brother, Eric, who owns a vehicle modification shop in Portland. She graduated from Sunset High School in 1988. She began swimming at an early age, and by high school...
Wait, hold up. You said she graduated high school in 88?
98, excuse me.
Okay.
90.
I was like, I'm impressed by her brain now.
And she's smart.
She's 8. She's 3 years younger than me. Graduated 5 years... Can't even count how many years. That's how smart she is.
She graduated numbers before me.
She is SMRT. Smarties.
She was planning to pursue a career in swimming until she hurt her right knee. That led her to practicing yoga, which she continues today and pursues as an interest in acting. She has a tattoo of a Japanese symbol for choice, also a crucifix on her left shoulder blade, and a Latin phrase on her right arm that means public property.
Interesting.
Right?
You know, like one of the things I always find fascinating about Katie, you're going to talk about her, I'll just say it.
I am done with the
she constantly gets roles where she is a tough, badass, very strong woman, very good at, like, you know, just this sort of, in my mind, a male-written superhero woman. But she wants a girly girl role. Like, she talks about all the time.
Really?
So, like, I'm constantly like, okay, I've got this girly girl role, Katie Sackhoff, and it never happens. But I try. And I try sometimes. Here's my fine.
You'll be in petticoats.
Yes, please.
How's your British accent?
And then her agent comes back. Will she be holding any guns? No, there's no guns in this. It's Little Women.
See, my question would be...
With guns? No, there's no guns.
No. My question to the agent would always be, what does she want guns? Because we can totally write guns in. Little Joe has a machine gun now. I'm okay with that.
Straight up a Bofi.
Movie pitch. Lil Women.
L-I-L.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lil apostrophe women.
Yep.
They got guns.
Yeah. It's a soft sequel to, what's the one you like that I hate that's directed by Zack Snyder about the chicks?
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, so it's a soft sequel to Sucker Punch.
That was so much shorter than how you said it.
Did we not get there?
You got there.
I couldn't remember. We got shorthand, baby.
We got it.
You took the long way home.
Are you ready for the mission report?
Yes, please.
The Razor Crest limps its way to the planet Trask so it can deliver the Frog Lady and her Baby Yoda snacks off to her husband. Instead of landing, it does a triple gainer into the bay and has to be fished out by a walker with the giant crane. Mando asks him on Calamari Dock Guy if he can fix it and gives him 1,000 space bucks. And we'll get to that later. Okay, so if you were around in 1983 and your grandmother and your aunties gave you Admiral Akbar and Squid Face toys for your birthday, you feel right at home right now. Fish people for miles working the hard life of fishing. Oh, look! Mr. and Mrs. Frog are reunited, and neither of them can count, so no one is angry at Baby Yoda since he's been gnawing on their eggs. Yep, Mr. Frog knows where there's someone who knows where Mandos are. Turns out it's a Mon Cal who knows a guy who knows where Mandos are, which turns out to be a Quarren who knows where some Mandos are. All he has to do is just get on his boat for an episode of The Deadliest Catch. Trask.
I'm so glad you made that reference. So glad.
Great minds. So look, we've been watching this show long enough to know that this isn't going to go well. The Quarrens want the Mando's Beskar. They feed the child to some sea monster and kick Mando into the water and cage him up. They're going to drown the guy and take his armor. Dude, we're going to be so rich! Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a Y-wing. No, it's Mandalorian, bitches! They make quick work of the Quarrens, who are not going to make season 2 of The Deadliest Catch. Turns out trying to catch a Mando is way more deadly than fishing. Mando is rescued. The child is also rescued thanks to a Mandalorian lady who does a little fishing of her own. She pulls the toddler protected in his pram from the deep sea horror. Yes, explosives may have been used. You're gonna want a new pram. One of the 3 new Mandalorians removed their helmets to introduce themselves. Din Djarin is not cool with that at all. He doesn't believe they're Mandos, and he demandos.
Oh my God.
To know where they got the armor.
Oh, boy.
How is the not dad on the table making that dad joke?
That's a great joke.
It's a great day.
I wrote demand and went, oh. And literally that's how that was birthed. It was birthed. I was so proud of that one. Oh, Dan, you're about to get a history lesson. Meet Bo-Katan. She's kind of a badass. Please check out Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels for more information. Also, quick note, she did have the Darksaber before Moff Gideon stole it. Kind of a sore spot there. So it turns out that not all Mandalorians are the same. Din Djarin is a member of a cult called the Children of the Watch, who wants to bring the old ways back to Mandalore. Oh, Din's not having any of this, so he flies off with the child. He then runs into the Deadliest Catch's family, and apparently they want to kill his pet in exchange for the death of their Corn brother. Which honestly, does that speak more to the value of the Corn or the child? Anyway, except Bo-Katan and her crew save the day again. They offered to buy Din a drink, and so they talk. Well, you slide down. Too much.
Stay on target.
Trying to. Over some dinner and some gok. Parentheses, Klingon food. They make a deal. The Sasha is eating gok. It looks worm stuff, and so it looks just like Klingon gok. So they make a deal. Din will help Bo-Katan on a mission to snatch some Imperial weapons in exchange for Bo leading Din Djarin to a Jedi. The child is dropped off to Mr. and Mrs. Frog's house, where they're watching their recently fertilized eggs mature. Ooh, one hatch. Looks like we got a little baby Kermie. Aww. The 4 Mandalorians fly over to the Imperial transport, board it, and kill a lot of stormtroopers. The ship's captain orders his deck officer to stand his ground until they get to hyperspace. The deck officer freaks out, locks all the doors, but traps the Mandos in the dock control area, where they send the dock officer and his Imperials out an airlock. They secure the weapons, but Bo-Katan alters the deal. She's going to take the ship. Pray she doesn't alter it any further. The captain calls Moff Gideon and says, "Hey, these Mandos are going to take the ship." Moff Gideon tells him that he knows what to do and offers the Imperial retirement plan. Captain kills his crew, starts taking the ship down into the sea. Bo-Katan and her crew rush up to get to the bridge, where they're stopped by a group of stormtroopers with heavy weapons. Din Djarin is all like, "Cover me!" Grabs his explosives and charges the hull, getting shot up in the right pieces of Beskar, so not to hurt him. Man, stormtroopers are terrible shots. Din Djarin throws explosives. Troopers go bye-bye, and the Mandos take the bridge and steady the ship just in time because TV. Bo-Katan and the captain have words about the Darksaber, which leads to a suicide because, as we learned at the end of Season 1, Moff Gideon isn't as forgiving as the Emperor. Din is about to peace out when Bo-Katan says, "Oh, go see Ahsoka Tano on the planet Corvus. She'll help him." Din is all like, "This is the way," and deuces as he jumps off the ship, flies to the babysitter's house, picks up his kid, and goes back to the Razor's Crest, which is being patched up by the Mon Calamari. Apparently not all Mon Calamari are great shipbuilders, because this one is put together with fishing nets, fishing line, and perhaps an ancient sea chanty. And since this child was so good and didn't eat any of the frog eggs, he gets a treat, some sort of sea tentacle monster thing that was totally going to kill him, but thanks to Mando Daddy, he has a nice snack for baby Kevin instead. The end.
Isn't that sea monster creature a baby version of the Mon Mothma? What is that thing called? Monstar?
Monstar.
Mon Mothma, no.
No, Monstar.
As horrific as her haircut was, it wasn't that kind of a
looks
horror.
like well,
the critter that ate Baby Yoda.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the
a baby version.
Mom. It was Mom something.
Yeah, I didn't.
Mom Ra, whatever it is. It's.
I said Monstar now. All I'm thinking about is Silverhawks.
I think that's the I think that's the baby version of that, and that's what was in the suit too.
Cool. I do like when the suit goes like, "Don't play with your food."
Oh my God, that was brilliant. So can we? I mean, how?
I've talked a lot. You can talk now.
How are we going to approach this mofo? Because this is a beefy son of a bee.
All I know is now I want to know about I want to name the Imperial retirement plan. It's the death. Oh, okay. Instead of 401k, it's just death. Oh, okay.
There's a lot. So first off, the fact that I love the Mon Cal in this. I love how they're introduced in the Corrin. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the corn.
I love how both of them are literally in fishing overalls. I mean, they're straight up deadliest catch.
Right.
But I love how the guy just stands there the whole time. He's like, oh, look at this. He's just like, it's like my granddad was a shrimper, so I'm immediately projecting into my grandfather as he's watching some shit about. He's like, yeah, that's not going to work. He knows it's not going to work. That's what my granddad would do.
And then it flips under the water, and he's like, "Yep."
Yep. And he walks off.
My favorite, I think my favorite line in the whole episode is the Mon Cal says. So Mando asks if he can fix the ship, and he goes, "No, but I can fuel it up if it holds fuel."
There's a lot of good bits in this episode.
Like, that's great.
So obviously, like we see the baby stuff happen. I have a question regarding. So those were unfertilized eggs, yes?
Yes.
So sorry to be just how my brain works. So the next time we see the eggs, one of them just kind of opens up and a little baby swims out. Mm-hmm. So does the dude just blow a load in the water?
That's generally how frogs do. Yes, they swim over and
How do you imagine that?
They swim over and fire for effect.
Again, like we said last week, the Luke Skywalker, the Death Star, just it's away.
Did you ever watch a crop duster?
It's off the side.
It's a crop dusting.
Runs by it, but he's not in the water, so he's got to run by it, and he like jumps over. And he's like, "Did I get it?"
Maybe he went into the tub.
He's gonna bag him a Womp Rat. T6.
Anyway, that's how my brain gets. On second viewing, that's how I got fixated.
Okay, so I had a question that I wanted to ask Drew.
Yep.
And that would be a good time. All right, so
after I talk about how frogs.
Yeah, well, maybe you can. Anyway, we talked about when we were all sort of, oh wow, it was Bryce Dallas Howard. She did a great job, right, directing. You've said you thought she did an amazing job, and I remember last season that her episode, which was chapter 4, which I enjoyed. Scotty loved. You didn't think was the best.
It's my least favorite directed episode.
So
really, there's the president and the gunslinger.
No, I think they're better directed. The acting's way better.
Okay. But my question is, as a director, how much more do you need to have a different directing style or for an action-packed episode times, like this than as opposed to one that has a burst of action at the end, but it's a lot of drama and character building?
Typically, yes.
Is it easier for action? Because it's basically just beat.
Action, it's just a different mindset.
Okay.
So the nuance of action is knowing to get all these cuts and timing all these pieces out and putting them all together, which is what Deborah Chow does so very, very well. Jon Favreau obviously does that very, very well. He's a master storyteller. My problem with Bryce last time was I felt like the flow of it was very staggered. They got it there because I'm sure they got into it, but her cut was probably kind of drudged on a little bit, whereas this was very efficient. Chapter 4 last time was a fairly long episode. Wasn't it like 48 minutes?
I don't think so. I have to look it up.
Yeah, but it was just more the performances out of it. In this case, she had nuanced performance of people doing what I thought was fantastic performances, like on camera wise, but then those nice little beats. But then she did very clever stuff in the sense of like pulling away so you don't need to see the Mandalorians hit the cargo bay button.
Right.
That's a wise directing decision, right? I'm sure it's written, but she's still making those choices and not getting coverage of it or in the edit. The shot of the Jin flies off and then Din flies off and you have like that beautiful sunset shot you see of them all flying off.
Right.
Those little nuances of setting it up.
I think my favorite shot in the episode is them all kind of hanging on the Razor's Crest, looking at the other ship.
Yeah, it's a badass shot.
It's a great shot. They're all just
kind
of
teen drama shot. Though. It's so good.
It's good. The sun's on them in the right spot.
So good. But this was her. To me, if I were her, this would be my demo reel.
Okay. I'm wondering. So you're talking about how her?
Oh, she's not going to have any trouble finding work.
Well, but that's actually what was leading into my next question is if chapter 4 was those long drawn out beats you were saying, do you think she was trying to emulate Ron? Because like Apollo 13, long, slow parts, good because you have amazing actors, good writing, and I think it was. As layman as I am, as watching a movie from a director's standpoint, I don't notice the things you would notice. But like he does those long dramas that are good storytelling, but they're not necessarily action packed.
So was she and Filoni were the newbies on the last season?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is I can't remember. I think that was her directorial debut.
That's her, yeah.
So I guarantee you, she walked away, because I did. Every movie I made, I walked away from it going, I'll never do that again. I'll never make that mistake. And I didn't, and you innovate. So my action scenes got tighter and tighter the more I went. But my drama also, I started to understand pacing a lot better. I think what happened was she did her first. She did a great job for what it was, right? If that's her first, I mean, your first thing is a freaking Star Wars show.
Right.
I'm nitpicking it because I can. Be critical. Then you move into this as your second follow-up. If you're following up with this episode, it's fantastic.
So this is her Empire Strikes Back.
All day.
It's just leaps and bounds better than the first one.
I swore to God it was Deborah Chow. I swore up and down, and I was like, wow, that's not, like, that's a woman for woman. I'm not being sexist. Like, I'm not being a fandom menace right now.
Right.
It literally, I just didn't care for her style. Now I'm in. Like, I think she's super good. Skeptical at first.
Well, I mean, like, her and Filoni both being their first.
Filoni's cheated a little bit though.
Animation and live action are different.
I know, but he still probably has an understanding of story timing more so. I mean, he's timing.
He's probably got no. I bet he's got a whole different understanding of story. Again, animation is a whole different animal. It's a whole other thought process for it. And they talked about it in gallery. You know, Filoni had Favreau right there, and so when he would do something, Favreau would be like, "Well, maybe you would like to think about it this way." I mean, like, you know, Favreau's over executive producing on this, like, because I mean, he's not going to let bad things happen anyway. So I think there's a lot of hand holding for both of them on the first season. I'm curious if they were a little more reins off.
Yep.
For her, and then I can't wait to compare it to Filoni's episode this year, which could be the next one. I don't know.
I know who's directing the next one. It's not Filoni.
So it's got to be the fifth one then.
Yeah.
So I was talking to somebody earlier today.
This one's awesome.
You got to imagine Filoni's going to be directing the one where we see Ahsoka, and we find out. And we find out what, like, if we find out if Sabine's with her, if we're going to hear anything about Ezra, because if anything touches on Ezra, Filoni's going to have to be involved.
So I've got to sidebar one thing so we can stay on a little bit on topic and put it into the wacky world of weird conversations. I have a new thought on Sabine, and I'll bring it up later on.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Did you guys pick up on the fact that one of the things that I loved was a massive payoff that happened when he presents the Mon Cal credits?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the flan.
The flan.
Yeah, the flan. First episode of last year, the very first episode, chapter 1, he gets it. Does nothing with it.
What am I going to do with it? That's what he says. He says, "What am I going to do with this?"
10 episodes later, here you are. 9 episodes later, bam,
Beautiful.
here it is. It was
What a
great.
beautiful story now.
Yeah,
so
that was great.
There's that hope that there's always those interconnected pieces that Filoni knows we're all looking for, because I guarantee that's a little. I mean, that may be John too, but like, there's a little connected.
And even with the simple, 4 lines about we're from a different sect of Mandalorians. There's this. He's a zealot type thing. You know,
what have I been saying? All of first season
right,
of
correct,
this.
but to people that don't
I
listen,
call it a religion.
People that don't listen to us,
right,
or B, don't really pay attention. Like, I had a lot of comments on Facebook today saying, "Wow, major plot hole was just filled," and I was like, I mean, yes, but no. Like, they were talking about how in the cartoons, you know, helmets come off. So now
that means Boba Fett is a Mandalorian,
or could be if that's made out of not plasteel.
Well, that doesn't even matter.
I think it's all Beskar now. I think it's all going to be Beskar. I think they're going to retcon. So originally, and I think we talked about this a little bit like the first episode of this season. Originally, Lucas has always been firm that Jango and Boba Fett were both not Mandalorians. Especially Boba Fett, he's a clone of a Mandalorian.
Right.
And Jango's not supposed to be. He's from Crimson Dawn, but in Rebels they made Crimson Dawn a Mandalorian planet. So is it a creed or a house now? So it's a whole can of worms. So I think that's going to get wrecked on. I think he's going to become up.
I still love their sigil or their emblem of the penguin. the whole Cries family has a little penguin on their shoulder.
Right.
I mean, I know it's not,
right,
but all I see is, "Don't push me, 'cause I am close to the end." From Happy Feet. That's all I see. Every time I see their shoulders, I'm like, it's so cute.
So that revelation, for backing track to that, like, when Bo-Katan, and I know it's her.
Right. I mean, she looks...
But she takes the helmet off. Like, that was, for me... I got gooses. There's a little bit of watery tears in my eyes, like that. Just
peed yourself
magical,
a little.
Yeah, a little bit. Just magical little moment of like, God, I love this. It's just so much fun.
And I mean, she even had the little headband.
Oh, yeah, she looks just like she did. I mean, as close as she could as she did.
Yeah,
we saw last hour in Rebels.
It was fantastic. And I was excited to see Sasha Banks because I've watched her as a wrestler. She's a fantastic wrestler.
Was she in the cloak at the beginning?
Yep.
Okay. Because I was like, that's important.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, she cute.
Oh, she's a lovely lady. So to have those bits was fantastic. To have those Mandos exist was great. But to me, the payoff of the entire episode is to finally hear Ahsoka Tano's name uttered in real world, as real as the volume that they film on is. To hear that uttered real world is just utterly mind blowing. Like,
yes,
I did a tear drop.
That was amazing, but I also thought it was abrupt.
I don't think so.
She was just like, boom, go see Ahsoka.
Yeah, but they're pals.
They are.
But they were in a. I mean, how much does Bo-Katan now trust those people? Because weren't they in the diner when she said that? They were somewhere where there were people all around.
No, they weren't.
I have to go back and watch. Were
they
in the ship?
Yeah, no, it's just the last thing she says to him.
Just to him.
Okay.
It's the last thing she says to him.
So the question
But they call him Jedi. So one other thing.
That was my question.
Oh, great.
Was up until now we just know that his kind. He's looking for his kind, and then all of a sudden today they know the word Jedi.
Bo-Katan does.
But she doesn't say it. He says it to her.
Bo-Katan has seen Yoda.
The armor.
But
Bo-Katan has not.
She would have known of Master Yoda.
Maybe
She has
not.
more of an opportunity to know him.
But it was Din that said, "I'm looking for a Jedi."
Right, because the armor told him about the Jedi.
I don't remember her saying the word
She
Jedi.
says the word Jedi.
Does she?
There's a line of sorcerers known as Jedi.
Okay.
That's the last episode.
I wonder if he's thinking that's
season.
the race name.
Well, no.
What if it is the race name? This whole time,
Holy shit.
Yoda has been Jedi.
Wow, that'd be interesting.
I win if that happens. I'm just saying.
So sippy of you. So one thing, just real quick on that, if I could.
Yeah.
The one thing I thought was really fascinating was here we have the Jedi as a hokey religion. It's a religion that exists, and so is the Night Watch or whatever they're.
Children of the
Watch. So they are also part of that same sort of hokey religion. I think it's fascinating that like Bo-Katan's centered. She's a normal person for what that means. She's a normal citizen of the galaxy, whereas you have these other two religious groups fighting, and it makes sense why Children of the Watch would be butting heads with the Jedi over the lore of it, is because they're going to see them as rivals in that capacity.
I like the fact that he just doesn't know.
He's David. He's a cult member,
Right, but it's fascinating to me for him to be as in depth in space culture. Like last week, he was cognizant enough to tell the New Republic, "May the Force be with you," and you think he knows all this stuff, and you realize he knows nothing.
right?
And it's like and there's so much, like, this leads off to so much possibilities. We've got 3 quests now that has been presented us in this episode. We have to give the child to its people.
Yep.
Which I think is the long-term goal of the show. It's not going to be. I really doubt it's going to be like, all right, end of the season, this is how it's solved. I'd be really surprised if that happens. 2, the Mandalorian has to face facts with his people.
Well, he has to figure out who he is.
Right, figure out who he is. Is he a child of the Watch, or is he Mandalorian, and go free Mandalore? Yep. Which is it's interesting because Mandalore is Sisyphus. It's always in conflict, and when you think it's in peace, the boulder rolls back down, and they have to fight for it again. And then you've got the quest for the Darksaber.
Right.
All just presented to us in this meaty episode.
So, and as I stated to y'all in our conversation earlier today, I absolutely felt that quote from Obi-Wan in this episode for the Mandalorian, for Din. He's taking his first step into a larger world.
Yep.
Like, he is a man of the galaxy. I mean, he's been probably all over that outer rim, doing bounties, hunting marks, hunting pucks. But like, once the other half of the Mandalorian culture and the Jedi, like, once that's open, like, he's.
Well, think about it. It's taken. What episode is this? 11.
Yeah.
It's taken 11 episodes for him to actually have the inciting incident that sends him on the actual real journey. The real journey isn't delivering the baby. The real journey, the Darksabers, these are all parts of that, but his real journey is discovering who he is and his place in the universe, right? It's Luke, it's all that. That's why he's central focus.
Right.
He's literally just gotten sent on that journey for the Golden Fleece. He's just now leaving. And so now we get to experience, and that's what's exciting to me, is because they've opened it up. It also makes me wonder if Disney's paying attention. They've got a real opportunity to spin off and create a Bo-Katan series and just crush it.
Oh yeah, I'd watch it all day.
Idiots not to do that.
Watch
now you have a strong female lead. You get all the benchmarks of what Disney wants.
All
to do
day
stuff,
long
just
would watch that.
Crush it.
I think we'll be saying that too in a week or two about
Ahsoka.
I think that's
100% we'll be saying that about Ahsoka.
Sorry, I was in my happy place about a Rosario Dawson led Ahsoka Tano show.
And I hate to say this because I know you like her, but you could get away of hiring Katie Sackhoff as a one-time player.
Oh, of course.
You don't hire Rosario Dawson for that.
No, I agree.
They have bigger plans for her, and so that's why that casting's so big. And so
I'm so happy.
But I'm with you. I just
love it just knowing that Katie has done long-form television multiple times.
Right.
And she's used to the structure. She likes the rhythm of it. It just fits into her nature. I'm simply saying, like, Disney Plus needs more content. Mm-hmm. And Star Wars right now is working. Like that, this time frame, there is people. I saw a friend of mine super upset, said it's too video game for him. And he's a huge Star Wars fan.
Right.
And it's like, but is it though? It's all video games are is just a story broken into little chunks that you play through. That's all we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same. That's what all episodic is. Game of Thrones is a long ass boring video game.
With a disappointing ending.
But shit.
Yeah, with the worst heel
What
turn in history.
was I gonna say?
You like?
We're awesome.
We are. You all are.
Thank you.
Oh no.
You are too.
Yes. More content.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, not granted, they're not going to have an Ahsoka series next week. They're going to have a Bo-Katan series next week. But now that, I mean, things are getting pushed back. Like Scarlet Witch got pushed back. WandaVision, whatever, got pushed back to 2021. Like,
but it has a date now, so we're good on that.
But like, even Black Widow got pushed. Like, everything's being pushed back. So,
well, Wonder Woman for Warner Brothers, now the talk is that they're going to do a very, very limited theatrical release and throw that thing on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Because COVID, you just can't go to theaters anymore. You just can't.
It's brutal. I work in a theater, and watching that guy slowly die, it's like
And
literally watching someone die in a Starlight.
And he's got a good theater. It's a cool theater, so it's like, I hate to see it. But
I hope he's. I don't want to be suffering for 1,000 years.
I was at the office at 5:30. There's no one there. And you're just like, oh. And he's got staff. And I mean,
is he showing shows right now?
There's nothing really to show.
Yeah, that's the other side of it. There's nothing to show. And
look, Disney's a bunch of assholes. The true story of the Disney, I don't know if I told this on the air, but the true story is, and maybe I should, but basically they were trying to show football games to help make money because people would come see football.
Right.
And they were showing the New Mutants, which I've seen. It's terrible. And they're showing that movie, and Disney says, no, you can't preempt it. It's like the 5th week it's been out. And they're like, you can't preempt our movies to show football, or we'll pull your contract.
Pull our contract.
You can't do that.
Wait.
You can't lose Disney.
What?
Preemptive.
Don't they have? He's only got the one theater.
He's got 3, but they were all tied up.
Oh, I was gonna say show it at its regular times and then play football when it's not supposed to be playing.
Well,
I don't know.
The problem is the football game. It was Alabama, so they're playing at like 9.
Nobody cares about Alabama football.
Roll Tide, roll.
Excuse me.
You heard me.
Yeah.
Kind of Mary Roll Tide to you.
Aren't you a Florida State fan?
No.
Auburn.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's typical Auburn fan right there with little conviction.
First of all, I wasn't until I was moved to Alabama,
Nothing wrong
and
with
I
that.
moved to Auburn,
You
and I
can be a
was.
Syracuse fan then.
I am absolutely. That's where I grew up.
Oh well, then good. You can be a Syracuse fan.
And I chose
Big
Auburn
orange.
because I was going to Auburn High School and didn't want to get my ass kicked, and B, all my shit was orange anyway. So, but no, I actually haven't paid attention to them in the last 4 years.
Of course.
Well,
I'd much
neither
prefer
has the rest of the world.
right. I'd much prefer watching pro. That's my Yankee showing. Is I'd rather watch pro football.
And you're a Saints fan.
What do you mean yet? I'm a Saints fan. They're amazing.
Well, they're not a
The
Yankee
best
team.
half of football
They're not
ever
the
happened
Yankee
last
team.
Sunday.
Funny enough, though, I like a Yankee team. So
Right, my dad loves the Bills.
Die hard Bills.
All my family's Bills and Jets
Where the hell is
fans.
that how do we even talk about that football on this podcast where there's some nerds' ears bleeding right
Right?
now? Like,
They're talking about that foot sport.
Look, hold on.
Sports ball.
As a nerd, I love football. There's many nerds out there who like football. I like fantasy football. I like Final Fantasy football. I like it all.
Speaking of,
We got chocobos and monks.
speaking of, Black Friday Blood Bowl Edition 2. Come pre-order your copy today.
Gamers and Geeks.
GamersandGeeks.com.
Not only at, but yes.
But mostly at.
But not .com. Just come see me.
Please buy from JD.
Please buy from JD.
What else was there in this?
Let's talk about the Imperials. We haven't really touched on the Imperials. It's good. This is the first time we've seen Imperials since like the early.
that are in operation.
That in operation.
Yeah, they were clean.
No, they weren't. The first viewing, I thought they were clean. They're not. They're remnant. So they've got their armor's not as shiny. There's
Okay.
marks
Maybe.
and stuff. I was like, oh look, clean, and they're not.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're cleaner.
Right, they weren't on the planet. They weren't on.
they're not on Tatooine
Dave,
being
or
dusty.
Dave Navarro.
Yeah.
And
Dave Navarro's homeworld.
right, that's where they come from.
We call it Electra.
Nice.
That's where I'd go home to. That's what I'm saying.
So the bigger thing was that was fascinating to me. What was most intriguing about the Empire was that they were still in operation, assuming like they were still under the assumption of working order, like they were still in a
Yeah.
military presence.
Oh, yeah. And here's something I just thought of. Okay. They made that trip from not Hoth to not Mon Calamari. Right? Sublight.
He ain't lying.
Yeah,
Sublight. So they didn't go to hyperspace because
They're-
it would have killed the unfertilized embryos.
right.
Or whatever.
And
we
so
want.
could have Baby Yoda.
So good of Kevin.
It's 50-50 either
So
way.
we don't really have an idea of how long it took them, but it obviously wasn't forever. Right? And probably a couple hours via hyperspace. So the Empire is operating on this planet where the New Republic is patrolling right there.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about how far away they were sublight, and the New Republic was right there.
So the New Republic also said they had just recently took jurisdiction of that's part of the sector. So there's obviously been some sort of conflict there, and so this is probably the last bits of that.
There is no conflict.
The last bits of the Empire trying to hightail and get their stuff and get out of there.
Oh yeah, no,
Get our guns out of the water. Let's go.
Think about like in war, there's a de-escalation. There's
Right.
like a de-escalation phase, and so I think they're in that process.
Isn't that just escalation in reverse? Is there actually such thing as de-escalation? That was a nod to Bubba telling me there's no such thing as deceleration. It's just negative acceleration. Anyway, that's
Either
for the
way.
other nerds that science
so,
nerds.
So point being is like that they're standing down and in the process of doing that. As Scotty said, I think they're evacuating out because they're going to go run off and make the first order. Because Aftermath has already happened, or the book, the Battle of what's the? Wait, has it? Yeah,
Yeah, Jakku.
Jakku's done.
Jakku's happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Jakku happens like right after the destruction of the Star. It's not very long after
Oh,
it.
is it really?
Yeah, it's real quick.
I didn't realize that.
It's the last. Jakku's is the last official battle of the Empire versus the Rebellion.
So then you have the New Republic operating however they want to operate,
Right.
which is safe shady, and then you have
Of course, it is.
jerky.
They're a government.
the New Empire, whatever they're doing, and then somewhere out there's First Order fiddle farting around.
So the First Order folks are like Hux's parents and stuff. They all should be in the unknown regions forming the First Order
Right.
with whatever Emperor making the Snoke.
Freaking stupid concepts.
Right. They're off into the unknown regions
Let's just
just
pretend
jacking
like
off and
none of
being
that-
dumb.
Oh my god. Let's just pretend that doesn't happen, and
Right.
Giancarlo Esposito becomes the new emperor.
I'm telling you, he has the force powers. I don't think he's been trained, but I think he has them. I think I said last season. Look at his chest plate. It is very reminiscent of Vader's chest
Because
plate.
it's a TIE Fighter's chest plate.
It's slightly different. Like, you look at him, he looks Sithy.
I mean, but he's got a helmet. He puts hoses in it so he can fly in space.
How many Emperor's hands are there in Legends at any one time?
A lot, but then now all are Inquisitors. He could have been an
I
Inquisitor.
mean, I'm just saying he could have, like, the Emperor is known for be like, oh, you got the Force, come work for me.
True. I mean,
So-
even like
And he
again,
can wield the dark saber, and he still has all his limbs.
So could Sabine.
Yeah, but she's Mandalorian and had Beskar. I will play the justification game. She also wasn't that great at it, if I remember correctly.
No, she got really good at it, especially if she got angry and whooped the crap out of Kanan over it.
Okay.
It's a good episode. Solid as episode.
So,
before that, Gar Saxon had it, and he was good with it. So,
look, the only other speaking
Jon
of the
Favreau.
Mandalorian side of things was that I absolutely adored the fact that Bo-Katan and her little crew, Costco and Axel Wolf, did you notice that, like, did you kind of feel like Din was just like, you guys are just kind of leaving me out a little bit, like,
So, yes.
they're just badassery all the way. They're like, fuck you, we're going.
Yeah, and then that's why in the conversation we had earlier, that's why I'm actually glad. I know you sort of mocked it during your report,
right,
about him running up and blowing up that last ditch effort, but I was glad they gave him that beat because it was literally the Bo-Katan show. And it's not. It's the Mandalorian.
right. But
So I needed him to have some.
See, I love the fact that they showed that he's not the end all be all. That there's something more badass.
I'd like that, but it is not the Bo-Katan show. Look, I needed him to have that moment of quote unquote heroism.
Well, they needed that moment too because so she could justify saying, your bravery will not be forgotten. I mean, Bo-Katan's going to keep her word on this, and she's like, hey, when you're done doing whatever this is, come with us. I mean, there was a full invitation right there. Just like, you go do this, figure yourself out, get that baby away from us, come join us, we'll go take Mandalore.
Think about this. That opens up, the fact that she did that opens up the entire door for Pedro Pascal to finally take off the effing helmet.
Right. I think
actually go to work.
I kind of think that's what it's about.
I really think that
he needs to go to work.
They justified the entire Mandalorian thing was not to fix a plot hole. It's so that they can be like, Pedro, you can take off this fucking helmet.
And have better hair this time. Not bleedy. Not concussed.
Right.
Maybe,
It's a near flawless.
give Cara Dune a little wink wink.
Because I would love him. Because here's the Western trope they haven't done is like when he is either betrayed or felt betrayed by his team or family and is on the run. So he goes and leaves the children watch who is clearly a cult,
Right?
and goes on his own, not wearing the mask. Oh, they hunted him.
That's coming. I think that's
The shootout at the Mandalore Corral.
Exactly.
With, like, Death Watch versus...
Where is our Star Wars Doc Holliday?
We've met him in Chapter 9.
Oh, yeah, baby.
You think
He calls Cobb.
No,
yeah.
that's Wyatt Earp. That's Wyatt Earp. He's a lawman. That's Wyatt.
The Mandalorian is
Nope, not a drunk. We need that kind of drunk, swabby card. We need a Lando. He needs a Lando to shoot people.
Is
and
that
drink
why you
it.
think Cad's showing up? Could Cad be your Lando? Could Cad be your
Okay, so back to Cad Bane to trigger my thought.
Last thing I want to do is trigger you.
Is it possible, just again, this is tinfoil hat time. Is it possible the boots at the end, the infamous boot discussion we've had forever, could that be Sabine? And she's tracking him.
Nah. They were too big. They were men. They were men's boots.
They were men. Manly men. Men and boots.
Go back and watch. You'll be like, that's a man-sized boot. But,
but
Sabine's tiny. She is a little
as
woman.
a cartoon.
They've been pretty accurate with everything else as far as size.
I'm just
is
throwing it out there.
concerned.
I said tinfoil hat. I didn't be like, this is the end all be all statement of statements.
So would you cast a new Sabine or would you get Tia Sakar? She's about the right size. See, the problem with Ashley is Ashley's great, but she doesn't you can't make her look like us. So she's too short. She's too
and she's just too bubbly.
Right. She's adorable. We love you, Ashley, but
There's just no.
I when I see Ashley Eckstein, she's done some amazing cosplay as Ahsoka and it looks good, but I still don't buy it because I'm like, oh, Ashley, and that's a big problem with it. But you paint up Rosario is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
He's excited. JD is like
so ready. Our table's
listen,
lopsided.
My whole obsession with that sequence is if it affirms to me that if we saw Flan get paid off, those boots are going to get paid off.
Oh, of course they're going to get paid off. They're not going to not leave that hanging.
I'm telling you, we're gonna see.
He has no more bodies. They're gone.
How do you know?
They all fell out of the ship flying through space. He had nothing in it.
Nah,
they're gone.
They're safe and sound. Remember, they're safe, secure in that carbonite.
Nah, they're gone.
Ming-Na is in the ship.
Well, they're gonzos.
She's gonna make a man out of you and prove you wrong.
But does it get solved this season?
How? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm bringing up the Sabine thing, because, like, if that's the way we want to bring her in, you can bring her in some interesting way.
I would go, like, I don't want to do the IMDb
don't. They ruin stuff.
ruin by checking to see if Ming-Na's in season 2. Like, I don't want to do that.
I don't know if they're doing that kind of stuff.
They have been mostly good about updating per episode.
Yeah.
So
I just saw something that leaked enough for me to put two.
See, and I still hadn't seen that, so I don't. So I've been looking at it. I look at it every week, when I do the recaps. But
Okay, so I'm gonna shift gears. Anybody else concerned about the name of the planet Ahsoka's on?
Corvus.
Anything ever named after a raven is bad idea. It's bad juju.
It's also a ship in Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad.
It's also a ship in 40K. It's called the Corvus Blackstar. But I'm just telling you, when things are named after ravens, it's usually dark, ominous, and bad.
What's her name?
And it's not good evermore.
What's her name? The girl from
Ipanema?
No, from Battlefront 2. It's
Iden Versa.
Iden Versa. Yeah, it's her dad's. His ship is the Corvus. So
I'd love to see her.
Yeah, and what's her face can play her because she has. That's who she did the motion cap. She'd be awesome.
That would make me so happy.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
She was yet another badass female.
Oh, excuse me.
It's like dude, Star Wars has.
Have you played Battlefront 2?
I have it, but my kids have played it. Apparently, 1 is just that much better of a game.
No.
Story.
Play the story mode.
Okay.
Play. Oh, seriously, it's real fun.
Because isn't it canon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, buddy.
And I know she has
honestly,
Verso has
if we could
an X-wing card and stuff.
It's just me saying, this is me being old. If we can figure out that Twitch stuff, we could just do it as a thing. We could have. Because it's been a while since I played, and I've never played the second part. I've finished the first one, and when they updated, I haven't played the second one. So
it's fantastic.
So we can all play it together. That'd be fun.
There's a great story. You play Luke too.
Okay.
Boop, boop. Don't you want to play Luke? No.
I mean, I have.
Luke. Make sure it speaks Bocce.
What I'm really looking for is somebody that understands the binary. Anyway,
you're almost there. You're almost there.
Binary language of moisture evaporators.
Thanks. Now that we know that you're stealing the water from the Heiress. This whole season has been a revelation.
They're coming to like.
He's doing sign language because you can't see him.
Episode 1, humans are garbage, stealing water from the natives. Episode 2, the New Republic, garbage, right? Episode 3,
State
our
Trooper
heroes
went
in a
up
cult.
Yep.
It's going to just keep getting darker.
So who's directing next week's episode?
Do you want to know?
Yeah. I would have asked otherwise.
If he's in a cult and they all get their jetpacks, would that be Flyentology?
Oh, man.
Nice.
Do you really want to know? Because it is a spoiler.
That's why I asked.
All right.
It will give nothing away to me.
Yes, it will.
Is it Filoni? You said it wasn't Filoni.
Filoni's got to be 5. I think he was 5. It's Carl Weathers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so Carl Weathers, so we get Grief Karga back in. I guess Cara Dune.
That doesn't mean anything. It just means he wanted to be involved in an episode.
No. Actors don't direct. Actors don't just go direct.
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau shows up as a voice in the own thing.
But that's not acting.
Jon Favreau
in front of the camera.
Just trust me.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants to.
Carl Weathers.
Elf. Was he an elf? No.
Carl Weathers. Yeah, but he's become a director at that point. Carl Weathers is not going to do
Ron
an
Howard.
episode of a TV. Has Ron Howard directed a TV show?
Yeah, probably.
Quentin Tarantino put himself in the ER episodes.
He also directed an episode of CSI.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Who did?
Tarantino.
Did he put himself in it?
No, maybe, probably.
But
Frank Gorshin was in that
Tarantino's
one.
not an actor. Your argument is invalid.
No.
So the truth is, like, actors will do that so they can.
He's really good in Pulp Fiction. He's really good in.
He is not good in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, he's great in Pulp Fiction.
No, he has good lines. His acting is horrifying.
Agree to disagree.
I don't like Quentin Tarantino movies, so I'm out.
He cannot act.
Except for the new one, the Hollywood one.
My favorite.
In Desperado, oh god, I'm just trying to think all the bad times Quentin Tarantino was
So
acting.
my favorite is Kill Bill, and I like it so much that I made JD to be a bear in a Goldilocks in a Goldilocks. So Mobile used to do these things, these like theater scrambles, and so we got we drew different fairy tales for our team, and we drew Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And I had worked it out by the time we got from the place to where we started writing that I was just going to retell Kill Bill with Goldilocks as the bride.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
And so JD is our Papa Bear in it, and so he's the fight at the end because you have to build it. So I killed these bears. We killed Baby Bear at the beginning, and then we killed Mama Bear, and then we meet Papa Bear in Ireland drinking. He's got a Irish accent, and
because reasons.
Yeah,
it was a choice. Was it a good choice? It was a choice.
So
it was a choice.
So the funniest thing, we had swords,
and they were the worst. That was the worst day.
But so we're at the performance, and the venue was terrible for this, but whatever. And if there was prizes, we'd have won this thing because I think I'm tooting my horn again. I think we put out a good piece. But so I've got the actress playing Goldilocks fighting JD.
She's this big.
Oh, she's tiny. It was perfect. It was perfect to be the Goldilocks. And so JD's just towering over her, and they're fighting. And then the scene in Kill Bill where Lucy Liu cuts Uma Thurman and mocks her. And then there's a quick cut back, and was like, okay, this shit is gonna get real. So I put that in there, the Goldilocks version of that. And so when it gets to the point where the stuff's gonna get real, they both hit so hard that JD's sword snaps like with 6 inches from the hilt. So he's like
that.
Right, he has got like a nub knife now instead of a katana.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
they improvised it out.
Oh, yeah, they played it all. I'll send you the link. They played it all out.
I tried to block with 3 inches.
Oh,
just like my wedding night.
Hey! Circle gets a square.
Damn, Jay Bullock. Twice today. So,
for insulting you earlier, I apologize.
I remembered my line. No, my favorite line was at the beginning. You think this is because we reenact the black and white scene, and so all the bears are around. Goldilocks is on the ground, and he's got a gun, and he says, "You think this is at my worst, but no, this is at my most unbearable." I mention all of this because that's my love. I love that movie so much. Me and my friend Emily Carlin, who's done some great art for me, we're putting it out as a comic book this year for 2021. Nice. So look for that on our Kickstarter. You'll get a free copy.
Because I had to wear barriers. It was weird. Oh no, it was like a full Ewok top.
John built all our stuff. John Lovato built all our stuff, and so
I felt like Chief Chirpa.
It was great.
Just post that in the show notes.
Oh, yeah, I'll post in the show notes. Everybody can watch it. Yeah,
we need more people watching that.
Everyone should watch it. I'm so proud of it. I would love to do it again. And we teased up a volume 2, which I'm now going to. If the comic does well, I'm going to do it as Django Unchained with Red Riding Hood. So
that's great.
So. Good times.
Yeah, because the memory hop of that came up not that long ago because you shared it again.
Yeah. So I'll share it.
Yeah.
In the show notes. Because
all I knew is I needed a tighter belt. Felt like what? Because the camera angle's all up my ass the whole time. Because it's this venue. There's no light.
Oh god, it's terrible.
It's all in shadow. You can't hear barely anything. You have to project.
Can't hear barely.
You can barely hear.
But all I saw is droopy pants. My lack.
Yeah, but you're gonna be a little more pain.
My lack of ass is like.
It's all right.
Yeah.
The lack of light ruins some of the bits too because we had
the plane.
We have John's nephew, I think, or cousin. John's got a huge family, and John built this cardboard plane, and so between our scene changes, he would fly this paper plane in front of the audience, going, meow, and he stopped midway, and he had a cardboard cutout of the bride on a parachute, and would go. Meow. And that was our scene changes, but you can't really see that in the.
And also, it would say where we going, like England.
You where you were going. So
wherever Frankie was from.
Frankie, we had her in Texas.
Yeah, that's right. Baby Bear was Texan.
Yeah, no, she wasn't Texan. She was at Texas. She was at a porridge festival and like a contest for porridge.
Mama Bear was
in Germany. She was making chairs.
Oh, got it.
And then
I was in Ireland because I can do an Irish accent. Because choices.
Don't judge my artistic dreams.
He said okay. I said okay.
I went with it. I wrote it. I went with it. That's fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, Carl Weathers, huh?
Yep, Carl Weathers.
Now we get Sylvester Stallone or
you son of a bitch.
Listen, I have no shame in that game. Bring him on.
Or what's his?
Part of the fun is seeing
Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, he's a genius, literally.
Right.
Part of the fun is seeing who's going to show up in these episodes. To me now, that's like another little gag of genius marketing.
Right.
You know.
If what's Carl Weathers' character's name?
Grief Carter.
I need Grief to have a reason to say it's all in the hips. That would just be great.
It could happen.
Probably. Who knows?
It's all in the hips.
I mean, I guess Favreau's writing on them all, except the Filoni one.
Yep.
And so no Ahsoka next week, but I bet she's at the end.
Of next week?
Like they get to her and she like raises the hood. Credits.
Oh, don't do that to me. I can't handle that.
I cannot handle. I'll have to call my doctor after 8 hours. If that happens at the end of the episode, I'll be like, it's happened. Did you take anything? No. Then you're fine, but it's still going.
I
It's gonna go for a week, man.
You're talking about that's the end of the season?
No, see, episode.
Oh,
Episode.
I'm okay with that.
Unless
Not the season.
Season's only 4 episodes long.
Yeah, 4 episodes long.
Then I will flip this table, that table, the other table.
It's 9 episodes, right?
8 or 9. I thought it was 8. They're keeping it. It's funny. I'm really excited for Mandalorian. I'm super excited for Mandalorian. I am really excited for Gallery. I want a second season of Gallery.
I love Gallery. It's fantastic.
Because I need more. The background stuff is like amazing. So
it's inspirational too.
Oh, right.
It's good stuff.
And exposes Kathleen Kennedy. I didn't say that.
I'm glad there was extra words.
A Momord.
Mom star?
Mom star. She's a mom star. They're going to feed her Baby Yoda later.
On that note, you guys, anything else? I'm good.
Kathleen Kennedy for president.
This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours, and may the force be with you.
I knew you were going to say that.
This is the way.
I'm not comfortable saying this is the way anymore, by the way.
Because it's a cult?
Because it's a cult.
Would you like some Kool-Aid?
Wait. Hold on. Wait. But we're cool with May the Force be with you. Also a cult.
I don't say that.
You don't say this is the way, do you?
Yeah, I usually jump in there.
Well, then just say you have spoken and walk away.
Right, do that one.
Okay. Can we do it again?
Yes, okay. So, this is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours, and may the force be with you.
I knew you were going to say that.
This is the way.
Over Scotty.
Okay. Once again, all right. So, all right.
This is par for this episode.
All right. So,
great.
ready? All right. So, all right.
Take 3.
Take 3. Ready? Right. So, multiverse. May the force be with you.
Yes.
I knew you were going to say that.
This is the way. No, not the way. I've spoken. This is the way. Yeah. So, everybody know your cues.
I was fine.
You were great.
I was on my mark.
You were great. In fact, extra soda in your trailer today. I'll make sure you get some from Crafty.
Oh, sure. The talented JD gets extra soda.
Why'd you quote my initials?
One line.
Have you ever tried positive reinforcement with food with your actors?
Yes, I feed them. Like, you get to eat today. You guys, you can eat.
I'll be like, no, here's an extra chocolate. You've done really, really well.
That's my problem. We have these caffeine chocolates up front. Anyway.
I was like, ooh, some chocolate. I was like, no, stay away.
Not bad.
Dang, guys were like,
can you see my pupils?
No, we can't. It's an audio podcast.
Not you. Not minus.
Two Utes.
This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours, and may the force be with you.
I knew you were going to say that.
I forgot.
He has spoken.
I have spoken.
This is Scotty saying our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours. May the force be with you. I knew you were going to say it.
So good.
This is the way.
Thank you for listening to the Mobcast Network.